Hello, this is Carlos with House of Tennis, and in this video we will cover the technique and the tactics of the return of serve. Now, the return of serve is the second most important stroke in tennis, which usually comes with a unique set of challenges since the ball is traveling quickly or with lots of spin, often leaving you little time to react. That is why a good technique is key, and understanding the tactical importance of it will help you take your game to the next level. The first step for a great return is a solid preparation, since our return starts long before your opponent hits the serve. First of all, you must be mentally prepared and have the tactical game plan before returning a first or second serve. Once you're in the right frame of mind to return and you have an idea of the positioning and the target that you want to execute, then it is important to adopt an athletic waiting position. You should have a slightly different position depending on the opponent's serve or your return intent. But you should always have a wide, solid base with your knees slightly bent. Also, you want to feel strong and balanced in this position, ready to pounce to either direction. If you have a two-handed backhand, you should hold the racket with the dominant hand using your forehand grip, and your non-dominant hand should be on the top of the grip using your backhand grip. This will allow you to release the non-dominant hand and hit a forehand return, or adjust the grip with the non-dominant hand if you have to hit a two-handed backhand return. However, if you happen to use a one-handed backhand, you should have your dominant hand with your forehand grip and your non-dominant hand at the neck of the racket, since the change of grip happens with the non-dominant hand moving the frame from the neck in order to hit a backhand. It's very important to always use the forehand grip by default on your dominant hand for both the one-handed backhand and the two-handed backhand. After having the right preparation for the return, the next step is to establish your return positioning. The goal is to have the right intent and tactics before your opponent serves. Now, if your goal is to be aggressive with the return, then your best bet is to position yourself inside or close to the baseline. However, if the goal is to buy time to see the serve better or to return in a more conservative way in order to get the point started, then your positioning should be at least 3 to 6 feet behind the baseline. This could be a good strategy when you trust your movement and ground strokes to find the neutrality of the point. After determining your return positioning, the next step is to take a few small, quick steps to position yourself for the serve before your opponent makes contact. You can take a single step or a quick succession of small steps. Play around with the footwork and see which one feels better to you. Then, split step at the moment that your opponent makes contact with the serve. Remember to keep an athletic position as you do your split step by keeping your legs at least a racket width apart and the proper grips while keeping your balance. You should recognize if the serve is directed to your forehand or backhand, and then do a solid split that will allow you to push off better in either direction. Make sure that your body momentum is still moving forward and leaning in the direction you want the ball to go. There are two options for the split step. A split step on the spot like Djokovic Agassi, or you could do a split step moving forward like Andy Murray or Serena Williams. You will find pros using both of these different techniques, and really it is a preference thing. My advice is to use the one that allows you to react better and more towards the ball in an explosive way, while at the same time trying to sustain your balance. The best way to get behind the ball effectively is by leading with your outside leg in order to have a solid load and push off to either side without losing balance. The trajectory of the serve is also an important variable to consider. If the person has a kick serve that comes up high, you'll want to load with the outside leg and stay a little more upright and swing high through the ball with a linear swing. If the serve happens to be a flat or low slice, then you'll need to hit with the outside leg. Then you'll need to load with the outside leg as well, but try to stay low and try to absorb pace with a little bit of shape. However, if the serve happens to be really far away from you, You gotta load with the outside leg, but you might need to cross over with your inside leg in order to get into a better position. Also, if the serve happens to be extremely wide, you should use the same footwork, but you might need to change grip and return with a continental grip to get more reach and more control. Finally, if the serve goes towards your body, it's really important to move out of the way as quickly as you possibly can to avoid getting jammed and lose balance. When it comes down to returning the serve, the first and most important tactical objective is to get the point started every time. If you're constantly missing returns, the chances of breaking serve will be very slim. A height over the net return into the middle of the court is better than any missed return. Once that you master the skill of getting the return in the court, then you can focus on direction, depth, spin, and power. In the majority of cases, your aim is simply going to be to get the first serve back into play. Of course, you're going to be facing some servers who are stronger than others, so you have to adjust your goals accordingly. But the overwhelming goal of returning the first serve is to get it back into play and make your opponent hit an extra ball. In general, the key to a good first serve return should be depth and aiming to targets away from the lines, rather than pace and placement. But it will also keep the server from controlling the point right away. You need to approach the second serve return with an aggressive mentality. This is a great opportunity to take control of the point by taking time away from your opponent. Remember to implement an aggressive returning position close to the baseline and try to keep your swing compact. The key on second serve returns is having control aggression. You want to attack the second serve, but avoid overhitting the return or try to go too close to the lines. A solid deep second serve return will give you the upper hand in the point, and it will put extra pressure on the server. When returning, whenever possible, use your strength to return. Tennis is a game of percentages, so if your forehand is better than your backhand, run around your backhand as much as possible, especially on second serve, since the ball comes with less pace and it will increase your options to start the point with offense. The more you can force the opponent to hit their weaker ground stroke, the better your chances are of winning the point. Therefore, anytime you have a chance, return towards your opponent's weaker side in order to try to gain control of the point immediately. It is very important to understand what your goals are on the return in order to get the best results. Have a plan of what you will do in every return scenario. Visualize your best returns. Take your opponent's strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies into account when developing your returning plan. Try to vary your position and shot selection to give your opponent a different look every time. And also try taking away pace or adding pace in different situations to keep the server off balance. Finally, try to chip the return high and deep sometimes to force the server to generate his own pace on the next shot. As your game improves, the return becomes a more important weapon. The serves of your opponent get stronger and more precise, and it becomes more difficult to break serve. That is why it's very important to dedicate energy and time to improve all areas of your return to give yourself a better chance to break serves and compete at a high level. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and if you have any questions, just leave them at the comment section.